Hi, I'm Pat Barnard, Group Managing Editor for TMCnet, coming to you live from IT Expo West in Los Angeles. And I have with me Mike Wilson, Vice President of Sales for North America for UM Labs. Hi Mike, how are you?
Hi, good to see you, Pat.
And welcome. So I understand you guys have an announcement you're making at the IT Expo show this week.
Yeah, we have a really exciting announcement. Release 1.5 we're announcing today, which has a number of very exciting features in our product line. And to make it simple, our product is a session controller, a SIP session controller, which you might think of it like a session border controller, which helps you, the telecom manager, deploy, manage, and secure his network if they're doing VoIP or UC type applications. Our new release has got a number of really important features that our customers have told us about, particularly around interoperability and security. We now enable Skype conversations, so if you're a US company with many dealers, for example, around the world, and you want to lower your telecom costs but keep your existing PBX, we allow you to do that and interoperate. We have a number of security new features. Our encryption now has been strengthened from 128 to 256, and so it's very exciting.
Okay, that's great, good. And I understand you have another announcement that's coming up not long after the show, is that right?
That's correct. We're also releasing this quarter, Release 2.0, which will have an incredible array of diagnostic tools to help the telecom manager manage the quality and the performance of their VoIP applications. That has been the number one issue that our customers have told us about they need help on. Customers, their clients are used to 100% uptime, the 5 nines, and when they go to VoIP, they need to ensure that if there is a problem, they can diagnose it quickly and fix it, and that's really what we're releasing in our 2.0 release.
Right, sure, of course, and that's very important because a lot of companies are relying on this for mission-critical communications, not only on the inside, but also on the outside as well for their customers that are calling in. Talk to me a little bit about, the growth of VoIP and SIP services and the importance of interoperability in terms of interoperability between the equipment and the services that are out there.
Yeah, it's a real challenge. It's particularly interoperability. The challenges are kind of like the dark secret of VoIP. Is SIP is supposed to be a standard, and yet every vendor does it slightly different. You might have, not to pick on vendors, but you might have an Avaya switch trying to talk to a 3Com switch, as we have a customer who had, and they have difficulties. And really, we can be the glue that can help customers transform that and interoperate different vendor standards, because we have a built-in scripting engine that allows them to translate one SIP request to another. Also, SIP providers might have a very rigid protocol that they're expecting, and that can be a challenge too. So that's a big part of what our customers get out of the product. We're also seeing large enterprises start to move into VoIP for specific application areas. So I mentioned Skype earlier. I mean, that's a perfect example. They may continue to work with all of their PSTN networks for most of their phone calls across the US, but perhaps in a different jurisdiction, they're going to use SIP trunking as a very cost-effective way to do it. So they have to be able to get into SIP in a cost-effective, simple, affordable way, and that's really what we think we've got with our product.
Okay, great. And in terms of moving towards greater and better standardization, what do you sort of see as happening on, in terms of the future with organizations like the SIP Forum trying to work towards standardizing and trying to smooth out the integration and interoperability issues that are out there now? Do you think we're making any progress on that at this point, or do you think it's just getting a little bit more complex as time goes on and more products and services are coming out?
Well, I think those forums, I think the standards groups are great, and I think they are making some progress. It's always a problem of, well, what's going to happen if I'm a telecom manager in the next 5 years? There are a lot of difficulties, and there are still a lot of competing standards out there, and it's not always in the vendor's interest, unfortunately, to make their standard, to adopt to a standard.
Right, yeah, so true, so true. Yeah. What are you guys seeing in terms of growth out there, in terms of adoption of SIP and VoIP services? I mean, obviously the SMB space is probably the hot area right now. enterprises as well are continuing on with their shift. How good is the market right now for you guys in particular?
Well, we're seeing phenomenal growth. We're all across Europe and the US. We're just seeing phenomenal growth. And the big surprise for us, again, is the enterprises. We see the larger enterprises starting to move beyond kicking the tires and, as I say, specific application areas for a number of reasons. Cost effectiveness, perhaps to give them local presences in areas where it doesn't justify it, are really the big surprise for us this year.
Okay, great. Okay, good. Well, we've been talking to Mike Wilson from UM Labs here at IT Expo West live. Thank you very much, Mike, for joining us today. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Patrick.